Hello and welcome to the long-awaited new entry to my Sport Essentials series, where I'll be covering every ball released since my last entry in April of 2021, including stuff like the Zen that came out before that but which I haven't covered yet, and I'll also still include the recently lightly restricted and discontinued balls like the Phase 4 and Altered Reality since they're still able to be widely used, though I won't cover the Spectre since it's been hard banned. I'm going to split this one up again by number, a lot of balls to get through, then offer a compilation later for those that don't mind buckling up for the long haul. Also, I do have sport footage for some of these which I'll use if I have it, but once again this series started as a way to highlight and focus on specific balls that I felt were important to have in your bag for sport tournaments, but as there's hundreds of different patterns and several different lane surfaces in addition to countless bowler styles, and since it kept being requested, I decided to just talk about everything. Logistics didn't work out for sport footage for some of these when I filmed the reviews, and some I wouldn't really consider useful or necessary for sport stuff very often to begin with, and especially for the ones that are transition balls or super late block stuff, I can't exactly replicate that myself or get much information out of throwing something like a high road pearl on a fresh sport pattern. Definitely useful for late block action when they get dirty, but hopefully you get what I'm talking about. I use the ranking or placement system most collegiate players use to sort and choose their arsenals. Most are limited to 6 balls apiece for tournaments, so 1 through 5 plus plastic, so I'll discuss each ball here that I haven't covered before, talk about where I think they should land and what their use cases and usability would be in a lower scoring environment, or where the conditions are tougher. Now, if you like the jerseys we're wearing in the videos, Rosdahl 10 gets you 10% off your order at checkout at CoolWick, and if you're in the market for any bowling equipment or supplies, please follow my link in the description to go pick it up at Mart. It really helps me out. Starting with Global, the reality is a 1 ball, no secret there. We're on the 2019 Open Championships doubles and singles pattern, and it's one that I've really been warming up to. In my recent gem review, we'll cover that one next. Also a 1 ball, shocker I know. I had the reality personally rated as the second best of the 3 big ASIMs in the SPI family right now, but as I've gotten a few more games on it, it's broken in nicely and now I carry it quite a bit. The reality is very reminiscent of Storm Sherlock from a handful of years ago. It's surprisingly easy down the lane for how much it hooks and how much it booms. It's extremely versatile from a lane play standpoint, left to right. You can play straighter or get deep. I don't find it to prefer or resist certain zones or angles. Now I think it likes deeper angles better, but on sport patterns you can do more with it from straighter. It responds to speed and hand position changes really well. Some people don't really know what that means, so what that means is that if you get up the back of the ball, some will stand up and go straight while some will still pick up and continue. Now if you get around it, some will just kind of puke while some will stabilize and still react well. Or if you add some tilt, again, some will roll out and give up while some still blend and hit. Sometimes you want that to happen. Sometimes you use a certain ball and intentionally kill it so that you can get the traction you need, but the control down lane. Now the reality isn't a ball that you'd use wanting to kill or tame it down. It's one when you need traction and dynamic ball reaction. It becomes significantly more controllable when you get a few games on it. That was my issue with it early, is that it's just relentless shape and traction. Now it's the same shape but more controllable, and it's been really effective for me. This is a layup 1 ball suggestion. It's like recommending the Zen to someone. It's kind of a can't miss suggestion that makes me look smart, so I'm good with it. Next is the Rotogrip Gem, Nationals pattern again, the latest hook in a box ball, and if you took the reality and made it earlier and smoother, you'd have the Gem. It's also extremely versatile from a number of different angles, but it does give you some of that kill ability. I think the number of things you can do with the Gem actually exceeds the number of things you can do with the reality. The Gem you can get to boom or you can get it to sit. The reality is just going to move, period. And the Gem has raw power while the reality is a little sleeker. It's sexier ball reaction. And I don't really want to say the Gem is more balanced, but it kind of is. I don't get along with the Proton as well as I do these two, but there's not a lot of overlap between the 3 hook monsters we have right now. They all have different shapes, friction responses, kind of their own personalities. This one has a recent enough review that I won't belabor the point. You can go watch the full review that shows a very detailed comparison on 2 different patterns between the reality Gem and Proton physics in case you're trying to decide between the 3. Angel and I both throw the Gem on the 2019 Open Championship singles and doubles pattern in the review. Next, we're going to talk the Altered Reality on the house shot, plus some shots you haven't seen before from Angel. She ended up getting one after the original review. It is, of course, unfortunately affected by the USB-C restrictions, however light they are, so since it's still legal for the vast majority of competition, we're going to talk about it. The Altered Reality is truly a Pearl reality. It's exactly what you think it is, more length, more shape. The twist is that the cover formula is so strong that while it does get good length and good pop, it also gives you a lot of consistency because it gets more traction in oil, so it blends wet-dry better than a lot of other shiny balls. That's not to say that it blends wet-dry well, or better than something with surface. I'd recommend breaking the shine, of course. Even then, it's still pretty responsive, but it can definitely bridge what can be a big gap between something like a Reality and a UC2 because the UC2 has a lot cleaner cover formula on it. The Altered can be used in a lot of different situations, and I've seen it be useful for a lot of people on the fresh on higher friction lanes. Bigger stuff and or surface ends up being too much, while the weaker covers on the UC2 and RSTX2 need friction or need some lane transition, so the Altered fits perfectly in those situations. It's been especially beneficial for higher rev bowlers who feel trapped when they're forced inside. Stronger stuff is too much, symmetric stuff is too slow, cleaner ASIMs don't start up early enough, the Altered is the perfect answer. The dark code is in the same area code, it's earlier and smoother than the Altered, but it does fit the bill if you're in the rare situation where you can't use your Altered. The Altered is a 1 or 2 ball. With the box surface it's a 2, but if you take it to 2000 or something, there's not a lot of stuff on the market that's stronger, so that's why I put it in the 1 ball spot for this video. This completes the update for the 1 ball spot. I have my Sport Essentials playlist linked in the description below that contains stuff that I've already covered but still in production, such as the proton physics, so remember my code Rosdahl10 for 10% off at CoolWick and my Bowler's Mart link in the description to go get some of this stuff ordered. Thanks for watching, and may the strikes be with you.